life or death situations in the desert.
Ancient aliens come to the Mayan ruins. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just went for the adventure, and what really matters in this life is crazy shit. Anyway, grab that bull by the horn.
Yeah, stay weird, motherfucker.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to another Stay Weird video interview. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. We're back on the YouTube. Let's go. I'm here with
Jimmy Larson.
Jimmy Larson. And what are your followers know you as?
Off Grid Skater.
The Off Grid Skater.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Off Grid Skater YouTube channel and the Off Grid Skater homestead. This is the right place if you want to learn about the trials and tribulations of living off grid.
When did this start for you?
Only about 5 years ago.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah,
What were you doing beforehand?
I was living off grid. Yeah, I was completely offline, and then
Another day, another dollar. I'm gonna go and get a little bit of water. We have a local community source.
basically what's happened was I was working in Los Angeles, and I was like doing remodeling and stuff like that, and then I'd get caught in rush hour, so I started going to different skate parks. And one time I went to a skate park and I met the owner of Heroin Skateboards, Foss. People may know him here.
Shout out to Foss.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, you know, people liked my skating, whatever. I started skating a lot more, and then like kind of Instagram started becoming in my peripheral. I guess I started getting posted and stuff, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should start an Instagram. And I was like, I live off grid and I'm a skater, so Off Grid Skater. I had a 5-acre ranch, off-grid ranch, that I built from scratch pretty much. And
Is finding water. I have a lot of different techniques, including catching rainwater.
as I was learning that, I was also going in and doing work for other people as well.
When you started Off Grid Skater, did you ever think you'd be doing it full time?
No, I didn't. I just thought it would be a good way to connect with people, you know, through skateboarding.
Was there ever some friction? Because I know for me at least, I'd like to not even be on the socials at all, you know, and is there
Absolutely.
friction for you with that?
Absolutely. I think that that's that's always a issue with creating content, is how do you balance that and live your life? So yeah, there's always been a friction, but I think at a certain point I've kind of, I don't want to say surrendered, but I've definitely sort of accepted it now as a way to do what I've always wanted to do, which was travel, skateboard, and document, which are my favorite things.
We're in Cairo, right outside of the Great Pyramid of Giza.
In 2012, I drove from San Francisco to Panama, and I lived in a van all throughout the Central America. I went to all the countries, and I was actually at the Mayan ruins of Palenque on December 21st, 2012. Do you remember what that date was?
No.
That was supposed to be the date that the ancient aliens come to the Mayan ruins.
So you were prepped.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just went for the adventure, but it was crazy because I was at the Mayan ruins on that day, and it was just a bunch of people on DMT all tripped out, like waiting for an ancient alien, but nothing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
When did you first decide you were going to go off grid, even though you're back on now?
Well, I'm not I mean, yeah, I'm on grid right at this moment, but I'm always searching for my, right now I'm actually traveling around the world to slowly work my way back to Alaska for summer to go find my new off-grid property. But yeah, so I just kind of was always attracted to anything that was outside of society. And I actually, when I was really young, I went to what's called a rainbow gathering. You probably never heard of that. It's an American gathering where a ton of it started in '69. It was during the hippie movement. It was a whole movement to go into the woods, live in the woods in a national park and create a community. There's no electricity, no money, and everybody just kind of works together to create community. So I was exposed to that, and I was like, oh man, this is really cool. And I ended up going to 10 of them throughout my life, and then kind of just worked my way, always kind of trying to live off grid. And then I had a property in Northern California where I lived off grid for about a year until some fires came through and took it out. And then that's why I moved to the desert. So I've homesteaded 2 off-grid properties in 2 different climates, and I would love to do one in like the tropics and or one in Alaska.
Were there any life or death situations in the desert that you had?
Yeah, definitely life or death situations. You know, when you run out of supplies, you run out of water, things can get pretty treacherous pretty fast. One time I was like building a fence and I like was trying to pull the tension on the fence and I fell backwards and I hit my head, the back of my head on a Joshua tree. I don't know, do you know what a Joshua tree looks like? They're super spiky. Here, yeah, look.
So that's why they call that place Joshua Tree, eh?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So the back of my head hit one of those and just started gushing blood. And luckily I was somehow okay because it kind of like, it could have punctured my skull, but it kind of like slid, like a skateboard reacted maybe a little and like it brushed my head. I mean, there's also something, there's tweakers. Tweakers are, they'll come and rob you of all your shit. They're like true bandits. So I'm always on the outlook. I was always on the lookout for them. And
it's like the Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild West. It's the Wild Wild West for sure.
And when you were picking this place in the desert, in the Mojave Desert, did it look inviting at first?
No. No. My partner was like, tried so hard to convince me to not buy it, but I ended up buying it, and we ended up turning it into a really beautiful place.
Amazing.
But I'm still looking for my forever homestead.
I love it, man.
So if anyone knows anything, hit me up in the comments, or hit him up in the comments.
And is it like a philosophy you're wanting to promote? Like living off grid and being more sustainable?
No, I don't really care what anybody else does, but I know that like me, I need to have a space outside of the city. I need somewhere to go to just do me and do what I want and not have to deal with like society's sort of brainwashing techniques, which is like when you're in a city, it's really easy to get like crushed down a little bit from just like the society.
You forget who you are, man.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. With just so much going around and happening and life pressure and things like this, I think it's very easy. Yeah.
I truly believe in like having the most purest soul that you can have. I think that that's like the one and only goal in this life is to purify yourself as much as you can and have the most the purest life that you can have, I guess. I thought, to me, that's maybe a form of heaven or a form of, I don't know, a greater, tapping into the greater consciousness of the universe. I don't know. Kind of went with that one.
Yeah, I agree. Heaven on earth, man. You know, finding that mental state where you feel most in touch with yourself and kind of most aligned, you know?
And I think by pulling yourself out of that environment, you can connect more with the greater consciousness of the universe. Some hippy-dippy stuff, but...
In a sense, yeah, but in a sense, like, I think everyone's kind of coming around to it and getting that feeling in terms of, like, wanting to find out what you're here for, at least, and being able to express yourself fully here on Earth, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's always nagging at every single person, and it's like, but like, can you make it past the billboards? Can you make it past the television? Can you make it past the phone to see what really matters in this life? And what really matters in this life is how precious and how we only have a little bit of time, and how every moment that you have is just a beautiful moment. And the more that you can hone in on that moment, the more you're living your life to the fullest potential.
Be present, yeah?
Present.
And what's some advice you'd give to people looking to do that?
An advice, I don't know what's going on over there. It's crazy shit. Anyway, okay, any advice that I would give to people is to just let go of your comforts and grab that bull by the horns and just ride it and take those risks and do the things that you've always wanted to do with your life. And don't let anyone bring you down and tell you that you're not doing what you should be doing. And if anybody's trying to stop you, it's probably because you're doing exactly what you should be doing.
And what's the biggest thing you've had to sacrifice to get to where you are today?
Everything.
Yeah.
I sacrifice everything for skateboarding, for art, and for trying to pursue the greatest potential of my existence.
I love it, man.
Yep.
Wicked, bro. That's about it. Can you say stay weird for the camera?
Stay weird.
Stay weird, motherfuckers.
Stay weird.
Thanks, Jimmy, my brother.
Yeah, man.